support. Give me a subscribe. Hello and welcome. I am your grumpy guide to all things gaming, the OGGM, and it's time for another deep dive into Tales from the Loop, our fourth expedition into the land of the loop. Now, in our previous edition, we talked about why I thought of all the places they could have set the American setting, they chose Nevada, which, if you live here in America, is kind of an obvious choice. Not living in America, I had to do a little digging to find out why the other choice. Now, the first obvious choice is, of course, it's where the guy who did the art lives. So, part of the reason why Tales from the Loop is set on the Mälaröarna, M-A-L-A-R-E-N. I know I'm going to mispronounce it because the A has got those two little dots on it, so it probably sounds like something else. So Mälaröarna Islands is that's where the artist Simon Sundgaard grew up. So it's his backyard. Now I want to thank the many people on the Tales from the Loop and Things from the Flood Facebook page who helped me do this research. So shout out to all of them. So it is a island first and foremost. So obviously right there, it's, an island. You've got only one or two ways to connect with the mainland. Islands are always got, no matter where you are, sort of a mythology, a sense of strangeness. You're isolated, but still you've got this community. You've got everything you need, but still you're everything is over there. And there's always that sense of, well, the people on this side of the bridge are the cool kids. The people on that side of the bridge are islands just always have this weird ingrained adventure, pirate, Sweden, Vikings, thing. So just right there, bam. And thirdly, it's the environment of the Mälaröarna Islands is because it's about 30 and 40 minutes from the city center, but it has a very quiet vibe. 1 minute you're in the suburb of houses, but just a few minutes away, there's nothing but fields and forests. And it's close to many old Viking sediments and a huge quarry, which gives it a very adventurous Goonies feel. So, imagine you're a kid, you live in this tight-knit city center town, but you walk 10 minutes and suddenly you're in primeval forest. And we're talking European, snow-covered, primeval forest. We're not talking, dead forest. We're talking like, dinosaurs might have walked through these forests, and Vikings apparently. So another thing we found out in my research is, thanks to Mia Gibson, spiritualist painter Helm Afkint hung out on the island. So that gives sort of a weird vibe to it. It is and again, thanks to Richard Antonio from the Tales from the Loop, we have found out that it's the island is primarily a suburban setting. The artist again spent his early years there, so you have that juxtaposition of nature, plus you have instead of mountains, and landmarks, your landmarks on that island are like the power stations and the phone stations, and that could give it sort of a very mysterious vibe. You're walking home at night with only a few streetlights, and there's this weird shadow being cast by this strange metallic dinosaur power station. That could look pretty spooky. The area is filled with fantastic and secret exits. The grown-ups don't really pay attention to it because they're too busy working. So it's just the vibe of the island is very much proactive for the Tales from the Loop. There's also a secret military base in the island chain, in that if you look at the base from the air, from satellites, it is covered by trees. And the government has gone out of its way to make sure that the pictures of that military base from time to time are blanketed. So instead of seeing the military base, you just see trees. So just imagine what secrets go on in that military base. Sweden, volcanoes. Norway, volcanoes. I mean, so you're somewhere around there. There's probably a volcano, right? A volcano, great source of geothermal power. If I was going to build a secret base where I was experimenting with some weird collider that did stuff, I'd use a volcano for the power of it. But secondly, and most importantly, let's not forget that the actual super collider is in Sarn, which is that part of the world. So obviously the guy's like, I'm building this imaginary super collider, but I'm like a hop, skip, and a jump from the actual super collider, plus Swedish chocolate. So there you go. So we've got an island separate from the mainland. We've got that difference of culture, with that sort of sense that I'm on an island, I'm kind of by myself. I'm surrounded by a very small, tight-knit city whose technology might not be as advanced as the people on the other side of the island. But the minute I walk away, I'm surrounded by desolate snow-capped lands. I'm amazingly beautiful trees, strange metallic structures coming out of the ground, providing power and energy and telephones. Vikings used to go through here. Dinosaurs probably went through here. So there's trees in this forest that probably date back hundreds of thousands of years. We've got, Sweden, Greenland, Santa Claus. We've got Sarn. We've got scientific advancements making out in Sweden. We've got Sweden as sort of and Norway, and the sort of always sort of secular. It just seems to build up to the type of place that would have its own mythology and a history of just sort of general beauty, history, technology coming in and changing that ancient history, that isolation because you're on an island. It just seems that it's a perfect setting for this type of environment. And then you add in the subliminal, idea of the volcanoes and the Vikings, and Sarn is literally right over there. Greenland's right over there. I've got the place where they keep all the seeds. It's a land of secrets. It's a land of mysteries. It's a land of strange military bases. It's, a land of mythology. We got Vikings, and we got Thor, and we got Odin, and we got all that stuff. So that probably explains that, and the fact that's where the guy grew up, why he chose these islands as the main setting. Tales from the Loop takes place in this land because that's where the artist grew up. That's the environment he was exposed to, and that was his childhood of walking out his door and seeing, technology, power stations, and then ancient, foreboding, beautiful, mysterious, magical forest. Who just easy enough to imagine. You hear a weird noise as the wind goes through a power station, and you're looking at the forest and you think, was that a fucking dinosaur? If you appreciate this content and want to see more, comment down below and consider supporting me, because remember, this is my only job right now. So I would greatly appreciate it. I know we're all hard up, but if you have a penny, it helps. Our next installment, and probably the final installment of our deep dive to Tales in the Loop, at least for the mythology aspect, is why the fucking 80s. So we'll talk about that next time. Until then, I have been your grumpy guide to all things gaming. Stay safe.